What it do, Tech File fam? We are here for another week of technical files. So, without further ado, let's just get right on into it. Welcome to Technical File, the sports podcast you never knew you needed.
And it's your boy, TIMKINZ, the number 3, a.k.a. Ass Ketchum, a.k.a. Mr. Give It To Me. I'm going to give you the professional voice today.
I don't know how professional you can be telling somebody to give it to you.
Make sure you give it to me.
Please, somebody give it to me. May I have it, please?
May I have a please? Just a taste. Just a taste.
See, you don't ruin it again.
Too far. You went too far.
Sexual harassment.
Please.
I am the Eric J.
Only known as
the Eric J.
And I'm Camille, point guard of the crew, the real life Tifa Lockhart, the girl next door, holding it down for all the women who love sports. Kay Harris, the gentleman.
The gentleman.
Is not here this week, so make sure y'all keep him up in prayer. Just send good vibes this way. And see, Dwayne be on it. He must have that Noti Bell set. He's already in the comments. And in regards to the intro here with Tim, he said that's an HR case. So yeah, professionalism out the door.
Immediately.
Can you put it on the table for me, please?
But, no, you can't say that.
Maybe every time
coming
from
you, here.
That's what it is.
But nah, y'all. Let's see here. As mentioned with Dwayne being here in the comments already, make sure if you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube page, you can catch the show live there every Tuesday around 6:30ish, 6:45ish, so. That's why hitting that Noti Bell is so important so that you get notified when we are live. You can be part of the show, join in, be in the comments. Dwayne says that he's going to RELAX, and it seems like he's not relaxing because I know that's a Vikings Packers dig right there. I see what's happening. I'm picking up what you're putting down, but I'm gonna rise above that. Like Michelle Obama told me, I'm gonna go high when you go. No, I'm not. I'm gonna go low too at some point during the show. But right now in the intro, make sure that y'all subscribe to our YouTube page and check out the show live every Tuesday.
For sure.
Sport fact of the week.
Is this the second time in the last 15 years that he's been able to do this? I'm gonna let him cook.
Probably, because I remember it was a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. They made a little playoff run after all the heartbreaks.
Yeah,
and they lost. I forget how they lost.
I'm just talking about like his hating on the Packers. Like I'm not even talking about the Vikings. Like if we want to get into the Vikings, then we can really go there. But I'm gonna let him cook.
It's been another day. They deserve some slander.
All right, if the Vikings lose to the Giants this week, all I'm gonna say is
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wasn't gonna say that, but I mean,
hey,
I wouldn't.
If they keep it within 2 touchdowns, I'll be impressed.
I would be surprised if Saquon don't like. They gotta stop the run. They gotta stop.
We gonna get there. Let's not bury the lead here. Do we have a sport fact of the week?
We do. I told Tim to name me a random sport. He chose rugby. So we're going to learn a little bit about rugby today. Rugby is officially called rugby union. It is vividly described as a hooligans game played by gentlemen, so it sounds right up Tim's alley. Rugby union is one of the most physically punishing of all ball sports, play under a rigorous rule code, wearing minimal protection. Pause. 2 teams of 15 players clash to win possession. Let me start that over. Wearing minimal
doesn't even sound right coming up. Yeah. Stay safe out here.
Cheer me up. Wearing minimal protection, 2 teams of 15 players clash to win possession of the oval ball, then advance it towards the opponent's try line. After 2 halves of 40 minutes each, the winner is the team that has amassed more points by scoring tries, grounding the ball in the opposition's in-goal area, or by kicking conversions, penalty kicks, and drop goals between the uprights and above the crossbar of the opponent's goal post. The fast pace and great physicality of the game can make it a highly dramatic spectacle. So, that's rugby.
Football stole a lot. How they gonna take one sport's rules and it took another sport's name and combined the two and said, "This is what we do over here."
Bonus sports fact of the week. Given my very limited knowledge of soccer, rugby, and American football, it's all born out of the same game. They just kind of devolved in different directions over time. So it all goes back to the same sport originally.
I don't know if y'all have seen or watched the Best Man final chapters yet.
Mm-hmm.
But one of my favorite parts is Lance, aka Morris Chestnut's character, who in this world of the Best Man is a retired NFL running back. And he gets to this resort and he's talking about football and he's like, yeah, it's #1 sport in the world. And the woman checking him in is like, sure, that's why we have the World Cup. But anywho, and it's just a reminder again, when I think about like how you're mentioning rugby and think about American football, it really is just like it's American football. Like it's huge here. Like it's going to be top of the ratings of everything on TV here in America. But like,
we got NFL Europe, bro. Like that thing
did not pan out.
I think of the top 20 shows on television period last year, 16 were American football games.
Yep. NFL games to be specific. I think like 2 of the top 50 or 100 were college games. It's football is dominant here in America. American football is dominant in America. But anywho, game that needs name. Doing that this week?
I'm down to win.
You know what? I'm game for some geography joints, bro.
Oh, geography, Eric. What's your cup of tea this week?
Do y'all want to do cities or countries?
I feel like I can get further on cities than countries.
Ditto.
So
just cities all over.
Let's do Let's talk about America. Let's do America.
American cities.
American cities.
Okay.
Look at Tim.
You under the gun, bro. You forget all of them. My mind is just like.
For those who are unfamiliar, the game that needs a name is a rapid fire game that we normally do to start the show off. We pick a topic, as you just heard. It's American cities this week, and we go around in tech order or some order. This week will be tech, and we try to name off relevant topics to the subject. And the last person standing wins. I always want to have remains in there for some reason, but. Last person standing wins. It has to be rapid fire though. So we'll go Tim, Eric, myself, and keep going around in that circle that way there.
Yeah. So each of us gets about 5 seconds and you can't repeat anything.
Yep.
But okay. I'll say it. That'll be the first one, then I'll say it. We'll be done with it.
Go ahead, sir.
Albany.
You said Albany?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Seattle.
Milwaukee.
Chicago.
Tacoma.
Racine.
Denver.
Portland.
Miami.
Springfield.
Salem.
Tampa.
Orlando.
San Francisco.
Dallas.
New Jersey.
Oakland.
Arlington.
Brooklyn.
San Jose.
Queens a city? Or is that the borough?
Part of New York.
It's a borough.
All right, I'm out. That's cool.
St. Louis.
Fresno.
Chattanooga.
Los Angeles.
Ashwaubenon.
That's not a city. That's a city. That's all the county.
No, Ashwaubenon is a city.
It's a city, bro.
It might be like a village, but it's a
block, but it's a city.
I think I said Anaheim.
Austin.
San Diego.
Waco.
Phoenix.
Los Angeles.
Oh, someone said LA, didn't they?
I did.
You said, you got it.
I was just going down the whole West Coast. I was going to
try to speed up.
I was just jumping around. I should have tried to do a more like uniform approach to it, but yeah. Congrats to him. He called his victory. He called a shot. And he won.
I mean, y'all did go on my wheel. Actually, like, it's funny you say that. So, like, I've been playing this game. It's, what is it, cityquiz.io. And it's just, like, naming cities. So you can choose, like, the U.S., North America, Europe, the world. Like, and when they say cities, like, it's every city. So, like, I was naming for forever and got up to, like, 300 something. And I still only had, like, 25% of the U.S. population.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, you just think about the amount of cities in California.
Yeah.
In Texas. Like, you're like, what the fuck?
I just started naming stuff like around, like it got down to like Fox Point and McMahon, like it's like that. Those little ass cities like counted. So again, like you can imagine how many. And then I turned on like so you can choose it by like state, or you can do it like any city name, but they only do it like one time, or you can do it any city as many times. So I did it on as many times. And like you'll see how many different places are called like Madison or Jackson, or you know, like damn near every state has a Jackson.
Like Springfield.
Yeah, exactly.
Like when Tim said Springfield, I was gonna be like Springfield because there's like 18 different Springfield. So
just name Springfield 20 times.
Right.
And it's another Milwaukee too.
Where's the other Milwaukee at again?
Oregon.
Is it Oregon? I thought it was
also,
yeah. And then there's like a Milwaukee at the end, and I think that's in North Carolina.
It's in North Carolina?
I believe so.
Oh, there's a Milwaukee in Oregon, but they don't spell it with two E's. They spell it K-I-E.
Okay, then I have it mixed up. Yeah, K-I-E. That's Oregon, and I think North Carolina is the other one.
Okay, cool. All right. Let's get into the topics of the week now, shall we? I do want to start just by giving a shout out to our pick and pool winner for the season. I've never been able to pronounce his name. I'm assuming it's he. If it's not, my bad. Their name.
I'm assuming it's Ertl.
T. Ertl was the winner of the pick and pool this season. Shout out to you. Please get in contact with us so we can get your grand prize.
Swag.
Yeah, we can get that to you. It's going to be some free tech file gear on us. So make sure you hit us up so that we can arrange that for you.
He was 179 and 90 on the season.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Shit, dang, I finished 30 games above 500, which given the way I started, progress.
I finished third in the league. I wanted a top 5 finish. I got third, so I'm happy about that. Oh, Lord. So let me just pause, y'all, to say on this podcast here, on my personal Twitter account, I have alerts set up whenever the T, the E, or the K tweets. So I see it immediately. I'm like, oh, okay. They tweeted something.
Yeah, for the most part.
I happen to be on my phone pulling up the agenda, the rundown for this week's episode. And the first thing I see is Tim's tweet. This man, I thought this man was over there enjoying a wholesome beverage. He is not.
It is a wholesome beverage.
No, you over here drinking.
Smooth beverage.
Hey, so if Drunk Tim come out in this episode, I'm gonna just say right now that's because this man's over here mixing Crown and cider. So
it's good, bro. It's like a little candy apple and shit. I like it.
You gonna drink it too fast? Then I already see how this is.
It's almost gone already, bro.
See? This is a fair warning to all those who are listening here.
I might get excited during this Packer conversation. We'll see.
Not much to get excited about. But nonetheless, again, shout out to T. Ertl. Make sure you hit us up to claim your pick and pool prize. And as we alluded to, the season is over. The NFL regular season has come to a close. He is drinking salted caramel Crown?
Yeah, salted caramel Crown. You remember Dwayne? That's when you was in the studio. First time
Dwayne in the comments said, which Crown though?
That was the Thanksgiving episode. First time we had it.
Oh, when we used to have audiences for holiday episodes.
Mm-hmm. And we went to the store because it was a limited time, and Dwayne had brought one in for the show. Fucking it up. We was drunk as shit. So that Thanksgiving was so fun.
Boy, I tell you, they were something else.
Anywho, to the audience.
Anywho.
Before he incriminated himself.
Right. Before we talk about the playoffs and the teams that have made it and talk about matchups and all that good stuff, let's talk about some losers. Okay. The ultimate losers fired their head coaches, and now they in the coaching search. We got the Cardinals. They fired Cliff Kingsbury, which
he kind of had to go, though.
I mean, I get it. 4 seasons, 28, 37, and 1 regular season record. Hadn't won a postseason game. 0-1. They only made it there once, which was last year, and then they got smoked.
Wasn't offensive genius he was supposed to be.
Exactly. Kyler Murray telling him to calm the F down on the sidelines. Things just seemed to fall apart.
I mean, he was a middling college coach when they hired him. Like, this isn't a surprising outcome.
Facts.
He got a nice house. He was supposed to be an offensive guru. You know, Cliff Kingsbury come with the creative joints and shit.
It didn't pan out that way. His quarterback and him don't seem to have a great relationship.
They motherfuckers did not get along. It didn't seem that way.
He's gone. And then the GM, Steve Keim, he also resigned. For the Cardinals, the Texans, they done fired Lovie Smith. They have, like...
Oh, wait. Real quick. One thing for the Cardinals, they said that they was going to let Kyler have input on the next coach.
I mean, he's the quarterback and makes...
He didn't have none on Cliff.
Didn't have what?
He didn't have any input really about Cliff. Well, no, him and Cliff.
Okay, how long has Kyler Murray been in the league?
I think they came in the same year.
I was gonna say, like, Cliff either came the same year or he predated him.
Yeah, I think they came the same year.
Kyler just got his extension, his first extension. So I think they were the same time.
Yeah, I think
it's interesting. I don't. This is me just pulling it from my ass, but like connecting the dots, like Lincoln Riley, like it wouldn't surprise me if he gets a look. And especially him being Kyler's college coach, like if he has input, he's probably the hottest coaching name that there is between the college and pro game. So, excluding Sean Payton, like I would say,
Harbaugh too.
Harbaugh, yeah.
And it sounds like the block is hot for him in Michigan, so he may need to be getting gone before some sanctions hit. So yeah, I think those three are the top three. And like to your point about like an offensive guru, like, you know, innovative offense, like that is definitely Lincoln Riley, at least at the college level. And he's actually had success at the college level as opposed to
Cliff.
I mean, we seen USC. They got the Heisman winner over there. He was cooking.
Yeah. And I don't even think he's draft eligible yet. So
not this year, next year.
That's the same when I saw that Marvin Harrison Jr. I was like, oh, he's gonna be cold. And I was like, oh, he got another year? Oh, but the Texans, they fired Lovie Smith, which one, you knew that, like, to the GM of the Texans, you knew that team was bad when y'all traded Deshaun Watson away. Like, you knew it was about to be a rebuild. Why would you hire a coach just to have him for us? Unless there's something going on behind the scenes that's like drastically wrong. Like, you got to give guys time to try to build a program. And one thing I'll say about the Texans, as bad as they were, as the season progressed, you saw them playing a little bit better. They were in games a little bit more. They were competitive, and then they won their last game, which, congrats, Bears. Like, Lovey threw y'all a prize on the way out the door.
I thought about that. I was like, this motherfucker still gifted Chicago, bro. It's the best thing Chicago had.
Lovey The Broncos, they fired Nathaniel Hackett, as we know, on December 22nd or December 26th. Dang, day after Christmas. The Colts, as we know, fired Frank Wright. Jeff Saturday went 1-7 as their interim coach. And Jeff Saturday said, I want the job. Please consider me.
Sorry, bro. Like, it's just fun. This is fun. You know, you can say you coached. Now you have it on your resume. Usually when head coaches get fired, if they don't get another head coaching gig, they become a coordinator and pick up some games. So why don't you just go ahead and pick up some games?
Who their owner is, man. Like
he probably got a shot. Yeah, he got a shot.
I'm sure he has a shot, bro. He got the job in the first day. But everybody like, what the fuck? I'm sure he has one hell of a shot at getting that job again. Because his buddy like, hey, yo, I learned from my mistakes, bro.
That's what he was saying. That's what he was saying. I've grown so much.
I ain't have an off season. These ain't my guys.
I was gonna say, he has the opportunity to now like actually build a coaching staff, which have during
the year.
Friends
because he's that type of player, and apparently he's that type of colleague and stuff like that. So he has friends that maybe he can pull to his coaching staff. Or maybe some pool, a friend of a friend could call somebody. You know how that shit
Shoot,
goes.
I mean, he got the job because he's a friend of the friend of the franchise.
Direct friend. That's hey, bro, you got a job? Hell yeah, go ahead, I got you.
Can you imagine? That's a high level. I'm a friend of the franchise, fam.
Yeah.
You know that I get all the perks. I'm a friend of the franchise.
Hell, I want to coach it. All right, there you go, bro. What a friend. What a friend.
And then also, as we know, the Panthers fired Matt Rule back in October. So as of the moment, we have the Cardinals, the Texans, the Broncos, the Colts, and the Panthers all looking for new head coaches. Meanwhile, the Browns fired their defensive coordinator, and they're looking at Brian Flores among some other names to fill that position as well. So
I know you might be conflicted. So if Brian ended up over there on the Browns,
who? Us?
Eric.
I mean, it don't change the fact that they brought in a rapist and paid him alleged rapist and paid him $250 million. So the good doesn't wash out bad, and the bad doesn't make up for the good. Or I think I got that backwards, but you get what I'm saying.
Picking up what you're putting down now. All right, we got the coaches out the way. Playoff preview. NFC, we got the Eagles on the bye for sure. They finished the season. They won their last game. Finished number 1 seed in the conference. And then we are going to have the 7 seed in the NFC, the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks, who got into the playoffs because they won their game and they needed the Packers to lose to the Lions. And the Packers lost to the Lions again.
That damn 12, bro.
Now, we're going to come back, of course, to the Seahawks and the 49ers. Say who think they're going to win. 49ers. But we got to talk about the Packers because that's our team. The three of us. Ken's not here. We got nobody rolling their eyes at us right now or anything like that.
We got one hater
and we can just ignore Dwayne in the audience.
One hater in the audience. Yeah.
So I'm just going to frame it this way. I'm going to ask 2 questions in particular. One, when you look back at this season, how do you categorize it? Like when you think of this, was it a failure? Was it however you want to word it? How do you view this past season that we just had going 8-9 on the season with Aaron Rodgers the whole year? Let me throw that out there too, because we've had some years where it's like, he broke his collarbone. So, the record. No, he was there. And then 2, in regards to quarterback Aaron Rodgers, number 12, do you want him back next year? So I want those 2 things answered here. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. Let's try to make it quick. Chaotic.
That's a good word.
Our quarterback didn't want to come in training camp. Well, until his training camp, didn't want to really get acclimated with our offense. He wanted to do his own thing, get high over and across seas and shit like that. Talk about his big toe and all of that shit. Just a bunch of crazy bullshit. Come in on that bullshit. Offense is in disarray. We thinking that we know our running backs is our best weapons, but he want to air it out every damn game. Then he broke his thumb. Instead of sitting out like Dak Prescott did for just a couple weeks, let that heal up and come back mid-season and we can just go ahead and keep it moving. We should have had at least 4 or 5 games of Jordan Love this season. I will say that. We should have seen Jordan Love for 4 or 5 games at some point, whether it was Aaron sitting his ass down to let his thumb heal or at the end of the season. One of the 2. I only say that because I say that's the only thing that I with all of the chaotic BS that happened this year. No, I don't want 12 back, but I don't think it's likely that we can get rid of it with all of the shit he got going on with us financially. But that's up to him. We'll see. But 2, if the season ended the way I've said it all season, if this the production that we was going to get from 12, we could have seen Jordan Love do the same shit. And then at the end of the season, because we were mathematically in it, we never tried to see Jordan Love. So therefore, because we missed the playoffs, we wasted the last 5 games of the season where we should have been seeing Jordan Love. That's in retrospect, sure, yes. But even then, at the time, I still wanted to see his ass then anyways.
To Dwayne's comment, Dwayne has a comment in the comments here, said Tim's been done with Aaron Rodgers since like week 6, which is
hell no, like since week 2.
Continue, sir.
But there's things in this organization I felt that we did appease him this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I'm going to throw my conspiracy brother hoodie on for this comment. But I feel like, hey, go. Congratulations, Chelsea. Y'all got it. Y'all, hey, can't even. Y'all,
we got our hoods up for you, Tim. What's the conspiracy, brother?
I feel like there was a backdoor deal between the Packers and Rodgers. Whereas, hey, we'll play your ass and let you play. You done played hurt all year, broken thumb and all. You done said that you're going to stay until we mathematically eliminate it. Cool. If we get in the playoffs, you got whatever so-and-so say for whatever. But if you don't, we'll make some decisions this way. I don't think that's outside the realm of possibility between this.
Man, ain't no conspiracy.
It is to an extent because that's saying that the organization gave that man an ultimatum or an option. If you do well and get us there, you can continue your reign of you get what you want. But if you don't, this all season comes down to us.
Well, and this is going to take us off track a little bit, but like what has the organization done or said after the season, like after the failure of Sunday, like to make you think that now they're going to grow a set and do what's best for the organization?
No, it's just something I just thought, like I was thinking about it throughout the weekend since the L. I was like, and like I said, that's why it's a conspiracy brother thing. That's why it's a conspiracy brother thing.
It's fantasy booking. That's like you're booking the territory.
I still feel like there could be something there to that. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think that's like there's been things alluded to where okay, Rodgers has more say now. We didn't consult him with this, and we're giving him more say here and there, and he has more control here and there. I feel like there could have been at some point like, hey, this offseason shit and this shit with you going back and forth, like, all right, we want to try Jordan. No, you want to continue to play, fine, but let's make a deal. You get us there, you continue. I
think it's clear that they made a deal, but like I don't think that it was conditional. Like I don't think it was we're gonna do what you want unless you failed. Like it's just we're gonna do what you want because like you've made us think about it the last couple of years, and we're kind of beholden to you. And plus, we just paid you a ton of money. So, like again, like I get where you're coming from, where like you kind of hope that that's the deal because like we did things his way, it didn't work out. So now, Murphy, Goody, and LaFleur, you want them to retake the reins and
we really need to grow
build
here.
Build the organization how they want to. But like, there's been no indication from any party that that's the road that they're going to go down.
So to refute that, or kind of a little just thinking about what you were saying. So one, I think everybody knows that, of course, he had a larger voice in this team based on what the Packers did last year, the year before that, and I guess you can say all the years prior to that as well. This man is a back-to-back MVP. Okay. The Packers are doing what we saw the Saints do, what we saw Tampa Bay do, what we saw the Rams do in a smaller window, which is we're pushing all of our chips in here because we think we can win a championship with this guy as our quarterback. Pushing all the chips in. For the Packers, for the last 2 years, they've been pushing off money until this year, 2023, pushing off things on the salary cap. We're going to restructure and then find a way and then signing bonus. And we're going to do all this stuff because we believe we can win a championship with this guy as our quarterback. They built the team around Aaron Rodgers to try to succeed and get that championship. What they didn't expect, what none of us expected, was for Aaron Rodgers to not look like Aaron Rodgers. He regressed this season, and that completely tanks a lot of the other things that they were trying to do. In addition to the fact that he regressed as a quarterback, we were having some offensive line problems. They solidified for a while, but then against Detroit, we saw them Swiss cheese again. The defense thought they were going to be a lot better coming out. And over that little win streak we had here, we saw some changes with Joe Barry. Joe Barry was mixing up coverages. He was doing a lot of different things here. And it's like, okay, this is the defense I thought we were going to see from the beginning. And then against Detroit, by the end of the game, one poorly coached team. I blame Matt LaFleur for that. You can't have guys pushing trainers and guys giving forearm shivers and
punching motherfuckers.
Like that's on coaching. Like, that's a discipline problem. Like that's a problem there. Everything just went wrong. Like the way that they envisioned the season going, it did not go that way. And then because they were technically not mathematically eliminated, they let Aaron keep playing. So we didn't get to see Jordan Love, to your point, Tim, which is kind of like, as a fan, it was kind of like, I was ready to see Jordan after we lost. I think it was to the Lions last L we took before the win streak.
It's possible.
Whatever game that was, where I was like, we are dead in the water here. I think it was against Detroit, but it was kind of like, okay, I'm ready to see Jordan Love. Like, let's see what we got next. Aaron Rodgers hurt anyways, whatever. Woo, 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 woo. But I'm not going to lie. As a Packers fan, it was fun the last 4, not this past week, but the last 4 getting these wins to kind of like, oh, shoot, what if we actually were able to sneak in there? I think we would have lost to the 49ers. But it was like they made the end of the season kind of fun. Like there were things to get excited about when you see Christian Watson's emergence, when you see Nixon as a return guy, when you see Quay Walker is pushing trainers, when you see how he has grown over the season as a football player, and to Quay's defense. He gave us very sincere apology. You don't normally see people just come on and say, I was wrong. I made a mistake. That was stupid. Shouldn't have done it. Normally people apologize going, I'm sorry if I offended you or if I hurt your feelings. And that's not a real apology. Like he gave a real one. I'm going to give the young man. I hope he succeeds. Hope he does better. But it's like all these different factors there where it's like, I get why it all happened the way it happened. So it's like, they didn't see this coming. And with Aaron Rodgers being who he is, what he's meant to the franchise, like there's certain things that they just weren't going to do this year, at least with him. And one thing that they have been saying is like, we see Jordan Love every day. We don't need to see him to know what we think we got. Like we know that this guy can start. You got people on the Packers defense who are like, this dude's a better starting quarterback than some guys in the league right now. Like the team knows what they got with Jordan Love. So they're confident. He ain't got to take a snap for them to move on to Jordan Love this upcoming season. They already know. But for me as a fan, I wanted to see it.
I want to know.
I wanted to see it.
That Monique Jeff, like, I would like to see it.
I like to see it. I want to see it, please. But again, I'm not mad that I didn't see it because it was a fun little run here at the end here. And if this is how 12 goes out, at least he had a little. Well, he had a little something here at the end to give some hope. He did. He
tried. He hit him with the bark cake. At least you tried.
He did. At least he tried. So I'm like, when I think about the season as a whole, because I had been saying earlier, this is the unserious football team. That was the unserious football team. And alas, they were. Like that, we could see it early. We knew things weren't right. And it wasn't just because of one person. It was everybody and everything was off. And when you put everything off together, it was just one big train wreck. And for me personally, y'all know I love 12. That's my boy on the field. But like, I think it's just time for both parties to move on. If he wants to continue playing, respect to him. Don't you come to the NFC North, but go ahead and do
Favre, bro.
I don't want another Favre repeat. Go ahead and go to Las Vegas and play with Devontae. Go ahead.
Go with your buddy.
I guess maybe Chicago will, but I'm like, what, any of those teams actually?
Probably not at this point. I mean,
Detroit might.
Golf was balling.
Yeah,
Golf been balling for weeks. I was saying that before.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
the
whole back half of the season.
Yeah, one thing with golf is, I mean, they're a dome team, and he plays better in domes because he was looking a little shaky out there in the cold, but our offense couldn't do anything, so it didn't matter anyway. So that's how I feel about it. I love Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. Greatest Packers quarterback I've seen with my own 2 eyes. Shout out to Bart Starr. Didn't get to watch him play, but we all know how that goes. And I just think it's time for a break here. And it's not me saying like, oh, I think Jordan Love is going to be this all-star. He's going to be a next Hall of Famer. But it's just time. Like, we might suck for a while after this. I don't know. But it's time to have that break.
You see Lazard leaving?
He probably is.
He just signed a 1-year deal in the offseason, right?
This is his last year, but he said what do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to end up playing? I know where I'm gonna be. I don't know, but I know where I'm gonna be at.
No, he said I don't know. I don't even know if I'm gonna be here. So like that's why he's like I can't worry about like somebody else. Like I don't know what my future holds. To answer your question, I think like I get what you're saying, Camille, but I do think that this was probably the worst outcome for the Packers, which is they played Rodgers all year, didn't get a chance to get Jordan Love. Like, it's not even about seeing him. It's just about getting Jordan Love, like, live reps in a game situation. Like, you didn't get that opportunity, and you didn't make the playoffs. So, like, it's like you played out. Like, it's like in the NBA when it's, like, the worst place to be is, like, the first team out of the playoffs because you don't get to get playoffs and you don't get a real shot at, like, a game changer. It's like you don't want to be on that treadmill of mediocrity. Like it's different in NFL, but still, like you want to either have your franchise quarterback or be moving towards your future franchise quarterback.
Got him on the bench
this year. What'd you say?
So they got him on the bench.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like you're not really working towards it if you're not like meaningfully giving him playing time. And so like I think like if they had been eliminated from the playoffs, like it would have made the back half of the season. It's like, okay, well, we can look to the future now and kind of figure out, where we go next. And again, from a fan standpoint, it's just like, oh, okay, I see it now. Like we're in good hands. Whereas like now it's like, well, if Rodgers is gonna come back and be that Rodgers again, like, and we don't know what we have in Jordan Love. Like, I don't know what the next couple of years are going to look like. It's just, it's hard to get excited for that. But I do think that certain things bore out down the stretch that do portend well for the future. Like, I think when the offensive line is healthy and you get Zach Tom a little bit more weight on him and coach him up a little bit, like, I think that they have something there. So again, just like continuity against the line, like you at least know that you have the talent there. Like Mike Ciari still didn't give up a sack. I mean, he was in and out of the lineup, but still didn't give up a sack. Jenkins got slotted back into his regular position, and he went back to being who he was. Like
we just resigned
all pro.
Yeah, that's fine. Like that you have talent at wide receiver. Like Watson seems to be like a budding star. Dobbs. He showed flashes at least early in the season. I don't know what happened back in, but
after he got hurt, it just didn't seem like he got it back.
There's at least something there. Like I know first couple weeks of the season, I'm like, oh, Packers got him one. So like we at least know that the talent is there, and it's just again like seasoning. Like they just have to progress going forward. Like the defense was underwhelming this year. And I think a lot of that comes back to coaching. Like, I think that they have a bad defensive coordinator. So if they make that move, like, I think that they have more than enough talent to be a good defensive team going forward. So, like, the bones are there. Like, you just kind of got to mold it and shape it going forward. So, I like, throughout the season, I'm like, there's no quick fix, which there isn't. But I do think, like, give it more time and kind of approach things a little bit more differently. That this can still be a contender going into the next couple of years, like whether that's Rodgers returning to form or switching it up and going in a different direction. Like y'all know how I feel about 12, so like and that's it's actually a good place like emotionally to be like as a fan, where it's like if they lose, well, 12 lost. Like I'm not hurt.
If they lose, 12 lost.
But if they win, like great. I don't have to celebrate Aaron Rodgers, but I can celebrate the team doing well. So that's what I meant. Like, it seems like it'll be expensive for him, like, to break up.
It'll be, it's going to be expensive, period. If you stay, if you go, if you get traded, if you get cut.
I think this is like 49, 50 million in dead money.
Yeah, but, I mean, they're going to have to rip the Band-Aid off at some point. So
because, again, they kept pushing it down the line. Like, you got to pay up. That's where the Saints are right now. And if you look at the Saints team, it's like this is part of why they've been playing the way they have, because they kept kicking that can down the line when they had Breeze. And it's like, we're trying to get you one more chip. They didn't get it. And now they're just kind of in disarray until their books clean back up. That's how the Packers are going to be. But luckily,
I think it's only 1 year for him, though.
Huh?
I feel like it's only 1 year for Rodgers because he had those voided years at the end of them.
It was only a 3-year deal. So I think it's 2 he'd be on the hook for. I'm gonna look in the background, but I think it's 2 they'll be on the hook for. And dead space, but
then it's all those other contracts that they restructured years ago. Well. So like that bill comes due.
And this team is going to look different. I'm not sure if Aaron Jones is back next year. I know he wants to be, but we'll see. Like if this again, and it's thinking about how the team could be. Like if you move quarterbacks, I also feel like you have a bit more leeway to run an offense that's not as quarterback centric. You can be a more run dominant team, or you can switch things up. One last thing before one thing that did piss me off, Matt LaFleur, please stop running jet sweeps with Alan Lazard and other slow. Like, what's the point? Why are we running jet sweeps on 4th and 1 when you got AJ Dillon? You can just run up like, what? Why?
Oh, and shout out to the Lions for that hook and ladder. That's one of my favorite plays.
Absolutely. The
One
Lions
of my favorite plays of all time.
They got a coach. They got them ready to go. I'm looking forward to seeing what Detroit does next season. I'm looking forward to seeing what Chicago does in the offseason. Like the NFC North is going to be really interesting.
Oh, since they didn't make the playoffs, are the Packers eligible for Hard Knocks?
I think so.
Interesting. That would be interesting. That'd be mad interesting, actually. You know what? 12 can come back next year if we're on Hard Knocks. I gotta see all that background shit.
Oh no, it's the last 2 seasons. So you made the playoffs in the last 2 seasons.
Oh, never mind. Don't bring them cameras here.
All right. Any other Packer thoughts before we move on from their 2022-23 grave?
Shit. At least you tried. Because I ain't even think you would be here, to be fair. So,
Dwayne, if the Packers are on the table, they go into the North twice in a row. Like it wouldn't matter.
Because they've wanted to get the Packers on Hard Knocks, but one, Mike McCarthy was never interested when he was head coach here, and then 2, they had always been winning, so it was like we exempt anyway. So
Jerry Jones is like, Nick, you going to Hard Knocks?
All right, let's talk about some teams that's actually been winning some stuff here. Let's talk about the playoffs. Again, as I mentioned, when we got here, Seahawks, they got that 7 seed in the NFC North. Shout out to Geno Smith. He set the Seahawks single season passing yards record this year. Yeah, he took that from Russ. He said,
Russ been there all in years. Geno came and took them
17 game though, too.
They erasing that shit. Get Russ out of here. Fuck all that shit.
He said, give me that too. And shout out to Jamal Williams. He expected 17 games. He passed Barry Sanders' rushing touchdown record as well. And also, I just love Jamal Williams. Shout out to Jamal Williams. I loved his post-game interview too, even though it was against my promo against our team. But I was like, they deserve that. They deserve that.
It had everything. That had tears. It had shit talking. It had a random dap in the middle of it. Like it was an emotional roller coaster. Like some innocuous question, and then he's like, "Yeah, my granddaddy died." I'm like, "Whoa!"
I was like, "Oh my!"
Watching me, yeah. Well, I did that for him. But hey, fuck all that bullshit. Y'all was out here talking. I was like, my guy. Yeah, y'all thought y'all was gonna win. We was gonna be an easy win. Fuck all that. I'm like, damn, bro. Hey, you got it.
I love how athletes are always like, I don't listen to what the media say. I don't even be watching TV, but they know exactly what everybody's been saying. They know exactly what the conversation is. Like,
everybody.
No, yeah, Jamal Williams is good.
For us to be put away by Jamal Williams in essence, because he had 2, but he was running hard as shit that game.
I mean, he didn't get that many yards. He had the touchdowns, but he didn't have many yards.
He had 2 of them.
I said he didn't have
like
that many yards. He had the touchdowns, but he didn't have that many yards as well.
He picked up the key first downs, and that's why I was like, he was running hard as shit. But I always felt like he would be a good running back anywhere he went. I was sad that he left. I was sad that we drafted Dylan.
We all were. I mean, we liked Dylan, but it was like I
fucked with Jamal, bro.
Packer fans love Jamal Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Packer fans still love Jamal Williams. He even said, like, Packer fans being his tweets, everything, just like, man, we miss you.
So I had to turn that off this week.
Right. He's a good, like, he's someone you like to cheer for. Like, that man had the Naruto and he's a good dude. All right. Seahawks and 49ers, who y'all got? That's the first game of Wildcard Weekend.
This is also why, like, I'm like, yeah, the Packers, even if they won on Sunday, it only extend their season by a week. Like, really, I don't know if it would have made much of a difference, because I think whoever got that 7 seed is getting curbed on by the 49ers. So
I agree.
Their defense just their team came alive. Brock Purdy bro came in like he been running the ship the whole time.
Well, I mean, think about what they require of their quarterback in that offense, because they've been running it through Alex Smith. Like, it's you don't have to get out of your pocket too much. Like, it's very, like, make the right play. When he asks you to air it out, just run the ball. Make your passes when you got them.
The thing is, he has a very creative offense, because your wide receivers are running backs, and your running backs are wide receivers, but then your quarterback is doing a handoff to your wide receiver who happened to be the quarterback. And he tossing it over to the and motherfuckers just be wide open all game. Like, that's why one of the things when they picked up McCaffrey, they was excited because they were like, let's see what McCaffrey does in the Shanahan offense. They was like, he's so creative with a lot of his running. And he's been McCaffrey, but damn, bro.
And to your point, Tim, that's part of why I was so excited to see what Trey Lance will look like in the system. Like, how are you going to incorporate a guy with this skill set into what y'all do? Like, I know it's about to be crazy, but yeah, 49ers. I think you picking the 49ers too, Tim, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's also why
I want to pick Seattle. Maybe it's Geno. But yeah, I trust the 49ers defense over Seattle's.
I feel it. And that's also why last week on the show, I'm not letting the Packers get my hopes up. If they win against Detroit and then they win their first playoff game, I was like, then I'll let them Charlie Brown me with that football again. But no. It feels good to not be heartbroken after a Packers season.
I thought you was in a good place. Emotionally, I'm in a good place.
Like yeah. Okay. We have the Giants and the Vikings.
I mean, I still don't believe in the Giants, but I don't believe in the Vikings even more. So
I have not believed in the Vikings all season, and I'm not trying to. This is the truth. You've been here, Dwayne. I have not believed in the Vikings all season because I don't trust their defense, especially their run defense. Shit, they ain't got no secondary. Like
that's the problem with the Giants. Like, they ain't got no secondary. Justin Jefferson is about to eat.
True, but the Giants don't have a bad. They got pass rushers. They got a good. Actually, their secondary I think was tops in the league.
It was just that secondary was hurt. They were hurt most of the season.
So it'll definitely be interesting to see what happens. Daniel Jones. Well, shit. Who do you trust more, Kirk Cousins or Daniel Jones? Right. Right.
Minnesota's at home. They in the dome. The only my thing is I don't know how they're going to stop Saquon.
I was gonna say, it's only gonna be one or two outcomes. Either it's gonna be the Vikings eke one out or the Giants them out. So, what's more likely?
Dwayne said if we blitz more than 23%, we win. If they sit back, it's over.
But they quarterback runs just as well, bro. Like Daniel be moving.
Danny Dimes do be.
he gone.
He will take off at the first sign of trouble.
It's like y'all have a hard time stopping the run because you can't focus on. Y'all don't have the secondary to focus on trying to contain it to the run, and then they have decent enough wide receivers to where if it ain't Barkley, it could be Danny. And the RPO is gonna light y'all. I dare not want to go to the Giants. I'm not
mad at you if you do pick. I'm gonna go Minnesota this week. I'm just thinking a roster like the Vikings should win this game. They should. They beat them earlier in the season. The Giants had more injuries at that time than they will on is it Sunday? I think they play on Sunday. Yeah.
Hey, so it's like, coming to the zone too for a third receiver.
The Giants they're well coached team. I'm going Minnesota here, but I will not be mad if I'm wrong.
Osborne's been coming to the zone, so they got 4 weapons at wide out or tight end. They got Hockenson, Thielen, Jefferson, and Osborne. That's not bad with Cook at running back. So Minnesota got the weapons.
They ain't had no run game this season. I don't know what's going on. Like they
need more linemen,
and they also don't have a great defense. So like it's an interesting matchup between the two.
And yeah, I think I'll go Minnesota too. Like I know that the heartbreak is coming from Minnesota. At some point, it's a question of like which week is it going to be, and like you said, I don't think this Giants team is necessarily good. Like I think they're well coached, but I don't think that they're talented. And they have obviously some major holes, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So I think Minnesota will eke out this week, and then if they have to go play San Francisco next week, like I think that might be a bloodbath.
Yeah. Okay. And then we have Cowboys and Buccaneers. They are the only game on Monday.
That's gonna be again. It's a toss-up.
Man, if the Cowboys lose, fam.
That's gonna pick 7 games straight.
I understand.
He's been playing like shit 7 games straight.
Tom Brady ain't been great either, though.
Tom been slowly playing a little bit better than he was 7 games ago. Dak ain't looking no better per game. Per game, he's looked more and more like he finna have the Cowboys out here doing what they always do. Every game, I'm like, say it. That's why I put the meme out earlier in the years. Go ahead, say the line. What the Simpsons say the line. We didn't. This our year. Ha 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 ha. Like I don't give a shit if we in the playoffs or not. Y'all motherfuckers wasn't winning the shit for a show.
Listen. I'm gonna pick the Cowboys here because it's the better team. Now I don't feel great about it because the Cowboys can cowboy, just as the Vikings can Viking. Like these are both of those teams are ones I don't trust y'all. I know what you should do, but y'all don't do what y'all should do most of the time.
This feels like one of those games where like it'll be like in retrospect, it's like, damn, why did I pick the Cowboys, the Mike McCarthy coached Cowboys to beat Tom Brady in the playoffs? Like I can easily see us coming back and saying that next week. But to Camille's point, it's like the Cowboys on paper are a better team, and they've been a better team the entire season, even when they had to pack a quarterback in. So
their defense has been kind of shitty lately too. Like they've been giving up 17-point leads multiple times towards the end of the year. Like that's not a good sign. You got smacked by Washington in the last game of the season when if you just win, you could at least make the Eagles try harder. But y'all had shit. The Eagles, they look over there like, oh shit, we barely even got to try this motherfucker. We only up 10, but we still barely going to roll through this motherfucker. Let
me throw this at you too. Tom Brady is undefeated against the Cowboys.
That's why they hate him. That's why they hate him. Yeah, and it's Tom in the playoffs. Hell no, the Cowboys.
I feel like it's overthinking it to go with the Cowboys. Because again, like I said,
they ain't got no chance, bro.
They easily come back next week and be like, "Yeah, Tom Brady beat the Cowboys in the playoffs like that."
Like again.
Like they had this hell of a year. So they're out here wilding, and they go do what they do.
So that being said, are y'all both going Buccaneers?
Hell yeah. I don't even fuck with Tom like that, but I'm taking them.
Yeah, but you don't fuck with the Cowboys like
more than anything else. So
who trusts the Cowboys in the playoffs?
No, we're just you saying it like I'm picking Tom because
fans don't trust them in the playoffs. They just pretend.
What we're saying is like you gonna pick against the Cowboys every week, regardless of who they opponent. They could be playing the Texans this week and be like, you know what?
The times I picked them, I lost.
It's the Cowboys in the playoffs. It's maximum embarrassment. Like you always rooting for that.
Right.
Fuck them. I'm so sick of that shit.
Like we can't get a biased analysis of Cowboys out of you.
Nah, I'll give you the truth, and it's still fuck them.
It's your truth.
No, it's the truth. It's still fuck them. I said they had a good team all year, but they was gonna suck like they always do.
I don't think I heard you call them a good team one time.
I picked them twice this year, and both times I picked them. I said I don't understand why I did that. Y'all said you don't fuck.
Wait, they were 12-5.
Wait. You picked them twice out of 18 weeks, and that's supposed to mean that.
Hell yeah, because I never picked the niggas. I truly didn't before this season, and then I did, and I got burned twice. Shame on me. Goddamn shame on me. Picked them twice.
The hate is strong. All right, E, you going Cowboys or you going Buccaneers?
I'll go Cowboy.
All right.
AFC. I ain't even gonna go there.
AFC, we got the Chiefs. They got the number 1 seed. They are on a bye. If by some happenstance the Bills and the Chiefs end up playing each other in the AFC Championship game a couple weeks from now, that game will be played at a neutral site, given the fact that the Bills only played 16 games this season instead of 17, with everything that happened in the game against Cincinnati. And shout out to DeMar as well, because he's back in Buffalo. He was able to leave the hospital and everything, so that's cool to hear as well.
I think he's in a hospital in Buffalo, but he at least was able to leave the Cincinnati hospital, which is progress. Yeah, I know. So I guess like with Cincinnati winning last week, like whatever they were upset about, like their penalty like didn't come to fruition.
Right, because they might have had to do a coin flip against the Ravens about which team gets home field. So they were kind of like, that's
not fair.
Which was funny. They had a coin flip celebration in the end zone. I think Ocho Cinco suggested it, and they actually did it. That was kind of funny to see.
Then they kicked it.
It's kind of messed up because like they did the right thing about like, you know, not continuing to play the game when their like their dude died in the field. So like for them to then be penalized in a way, like that is kind of messed up. Like I got where they're coming from.
Yeah, it was no perfect solution to something like
no.
You don't plan for something like that to happen. So they tried to make the best out of what they could. But the AFC matchups this weekend for Wildcard Weekend, you got the Chargers and the Jaguars. And of all the games, this one is the biggest toss up to me. Where I'm like, I honestly don't know. Like,
well, shit, I know. Jacksonville.
It's a mid off.
Jacksonville, we hot as shit. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if
my brother. I watched that Titans game. Nothing about Jacksonville is hot. Like it's based on that game.
Hey, listen,
they don't won some games. But
they're winning games. They're not blowing teams out.
Six or seven? Was it 6 or 7 in a row?
Right, but we're saying the way they're winning, like they're not out here looking like the Bills and the Chiefs, where it's like, man, they out here like really hot. Like they going in the playoffs.
They were. They were. They had games where they smoked cats, and they had games where they had to come back and win. Fucking Cowboys. And go ahead and get that dub and shit like that. But they've shown different ways that they've won on top of putting up yards through the air with Trevor Lawrence or on the ground with ETN. That Titans game was a difficult matchup. It's a division foe, and they're good against the run, so they only could pass.
Okay, but I can't allow you to just shit on the Cowboys for like 5 minutes and then prop that up as a good win for the Jaguars.
It was. They 12-5. Y'all said it.
You can't do
that both ways, bro.
What? You pick a side.
No. I did pick a side. I said I've always told the truth. Well, I said they were good when they were good. They were a good team, but fuck them. They were going to do what the Cowboys always do. No matter how good their season was going to be, at the end of the day, they were going to do what the Cowboys are going to do. You could run the tape back. I just said it. The exact same thing. I've always given throughout the season, I said they're a good team. They'll probably go get this dub. They'll probably get this dub, whatever case may be.
But you only picked them
twice. But you just said you only.
We can go ahead and find some film. We can go ahead and find some tape, bro. I gave you
like we just started off with the like you can't like the end of the day it's always a fuck. Say like they garbage and then like be like, oh, but this team beat them, so they good. Like
I start off with the truth, but it's always a fuck. The Cowboys were a good team throughout the year, but then they started looking like shit towards.
I don't think he even hears it out of his mouth sometimes.
You got it, boss.
That's okay. Y'all run it back. Y'all listen to it. Shoot me a text when y'all hear it.
You can listen. You got ears.
No, you have to confirm to me that you heard what I said. Why would I have to confirm it to you?
You got it, boss.
So you're picking the Jaguars then?
I said that a long time ago. You know I am. Come on now. What we doing?
Eric, who you picking in this mid-off?
Sleep. That's what I'm gonna be doing during this game. I just want to pick against Tim now just because of like the last 10 minute podcast, but I do think Jacksonville, sure. I just like the Chargers are like the Vikings of the AFC, where it's just like every year it's just something like they have all the talent in the world, but it's just something in the stew that don't congeal correctly.
Injuries.
Every year we go into it, it's like, oh man, Chargers look loaded, and then every year it's like, 9-7.
I'm not sure if Mike Williams is going to play in this game because they had him in the game this past week. That didn't mean anything. They already had the 5th spot locked up. They had their starters in for quite some time, and Mike Williams hurt his back. So I am not sure if he is playing in this game. And even if he does, we know he's not. Let me stop there. No one's 100% in the NFL right now. That's just the way it is. But Mike Williams is hurt right now. So even if he does suit up, it's like, man, he is putting in a Herculean effort right now to try to get out there and help his team. They're in Jacksonville. It can be kind of hard to play.
It's supposed to be like super cold too that night, like 35 degrees.
I don't know, man. Flip a coin. Give me the home team. I'm gonna just go Jacksonville on this one. I can't really call it. Dolphins and Bills.
Bills.
I got the Bills.
I want the Bills to really go all the way. Like I had them before the season started as my preseason prediction, like make it all the way. I thought it was gonna be against the Packers though, but especially everything that's been happening with Buffalo, like I'm really like on the Buffalo. Like, come on, y'all, like win it out. So I'm going Buffalo. And also the Dolphins, they just
Tua still hurt. Bro, like these concussions is messing him up, and they keep throwing him back out there.
Well, he ain't been back out there since that Packer game.
He'll be back this week, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. He'll be back.
Yeah, they said, like, hey, later on this week you'll find out. Tua plays. They still gonna lose, but it'll be more entertaining.
Maybe if Tua plays it and he's coherent, it's gonna be a hell of a game.
Well, hopefully they don't let him back on the field unless he is coherent. That's why I said hopefully. I said hopefully.
I believe when I see it.
Okay.
I got Bills. I don't really have much analysis to go with that. Just
they're better team. Yeah. Ravens and Bengals.
I got the Bengals. If Lamar ain't there in a playoff situation, I'll take the Bengals.
And especially at this point when he hasn't played in 2 months or something like that. Like
it's been a minute.
Yeah, Cincinnati.
Same.
The
only concern I have with Cincinnati is their offensive line. I think they have a couple of injuries on their line now.
That ain't nothing new to Joe. He's been getting sick for a while now. Since he walked in, did he hit like 52 times? Did he had a record?
Good point, sir. Good point. Yeah, I'm going with Joe Cool. Also, that man said one of the most player things I ever heard before in a post-game interview. They asked him how long they think the Bengals window is going to be open, and he said, "It's my career. The window is open as long as I'm here." I said, the confidence. I love it.
That's fair.
All right. Let's talk some basketball. Let's do our NBA check-in. Our 3 things this week. Tim, what's been on your mind over the past week of this NBA season?
Granted, we've been talking about the parity in the league and how everything has been close and everybody's within a game of one another and stuff like that. But we finally starting to get a little bit of separation now. Now they're starting to, amongst the top seeds in each conference, especially 1 and 2, you're starting to see a gap in the games between 1 and 6. Like there's a 6 or 7 game gap in both conferences between those two. We didn't have that within the last week or so. It's been everybody been 3 to 2 games now. Now we're starting to actually see who's legit, who's taking off, and who's still kind of middling or going to struggle a little bit. It's starting to kind of shape out a little bit. Denver is legit for sure. Memphis is legit for sure. Boston is legit for sure. Brooklyn has been playing out of their minds. Them top 4 teams, justifiably so, are starting to slowly creep away from everybody else. Mm-hmm. Then you have the rest of the fields, which 3 through 5, they're all roughly around the same-ish in both conferences, I feel. I'm not even looking at it, but I believe that they're both around the same.
I think you should probably pull up the numbers that you talk. It's a little closer than you might think.
Then what?
The Bucks are 1 game behind the Nets, and Pelicans are 2.5 back of Nuggets and Denver, who are top seed.
What's Pelicans at?
2.5 games back. 30 seed.
No, 3 seed. Okay.
And then what's crazy too in the conference, I'm looking at the standings right now. You didn't mention Cleveland, I don't think. Cleveland's also up here. They're only 3 games behind.
I was just talking about, I said the separation from the top 2 seeds from the rest of the field, but especially between 1 and 2 and 6.
See, I don't disagree with your overall point, but I think that your the cutoff point is where I kind of disagree a little bit. I think that there is separation between 3 and 4 in the West and then 5 and 6 in the East.
Yeah.
I think that's where it's okay, it's still a little bit bunched up at the top, but the top is starting to separate a little bit from the bottom, or from the middle, I should say.
Yeah. It's not the same split in both conferences.
No. But I mean, that's your one thing. It's the world we live in it. But I think that I would agree with your premise, but I disagree with your conclusion.
And the teams that are bunched up at the bottom here are really in the fact that the Lakers are the 12 seed at 19 and 22, but they're only 3 games behind the 5 seed. Like, it's like, what? Wait,
Yeah,
what?
they're a game out of 8th.
Yeah, like what?
Which was like I had a bonus point, which was like, is the West just not good? Because again, the Warriors are the 6th seed and they're at 500, and we know how the Warriors have been this year. Clippers have lost 6 in a row. The Suns have lost 6 in a row. The Blazers had a good start. They're now below 500. The Jazz had a great start. They're now below 500. To Camille's point, the Lakers, through all the shit that they've had, like to start the season, like they're just a game out of 8th at this point. So it's like, did we overrate the West a little bit from the beginning of the season? Like, I know everybody thought it was going to be there's more parity between the two conferences, but I think we still were like, man, it's a big ass group of teams. Anybody could win the West, and now it seems like, okay, well, I
think part of that is injuries. Like it's the injuries that we've seen, and injuries are part of the game every season. But like the Warriors being without Steph Curry, like it sunk them. Although they 500, like I don't know how that exactly happened. What's going on with the Clippers? Like they have just come. I don't like they are not, when Kawhi does play, he don't look good. Like I don't know about the Clippers. Like they're on my I think I overrated them at this point in the season. And again,
finals, so I definitely did.
It's injuries, like for sure. But like at what point, and I'm talking about the Clippers in particular, because it's like Kawhi, we've been talking about Kawhi being hurt since his last season in San Antonio. Like it's been a thing for a while now. He got to Toronto, to even like rest management and all this other stuff, trying to keep him healthy to get him through. He leaves Toronto, goes to the Clippers, got hurt again. Like it's just, I don't know if we're ever going to be able to fully see the vision with the Clippers at this point.
And but I think secretly aging too. They're both north of 30 at this point. So these first couple of years were supposed to be like these are years where we compete, and then it might be a little bit of pain on the back end. But like they didn't even get the good years because like they couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah.
But my other point was that the San Antonio Spurs are going for the all-time NBA attendance record this Friday. So they're playing a game against the Warriors on Friday at the Alamo Dome. They're going to have it. I don't know exactly how many they're going to have it seated for, but they are expected to break the record. So we'll check back next week to see what
people still coming out.
So just how many games they've sold. So pretty much they've sold out every game.
Who?
Spurs.
No, so like the Spurs, obviously they play in like a regular arena. I think it was AT&T. I don't know what it is now, but like they play in like a, let's say 16,000 seat arena or whatever it is. They're playing this one game in a dome. So like domes can obviously sit like for a basketball game upwards of 80,000. While Camille does her point, like I'll check to see what the seating is for Spurs.
The Alamo, was it the Alamo Dome?
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's why I was like, well, I guess they can still break that NBA record. I was like, the Spurs are bad. Like, who's paying tickets to go see the Spurs in the Alamo? But I guess spectacle games.
Yep.
And they're playing the Warriors. People might want to come out and see Steph Curry since he's back, I think, tonight.
Okay. So Friday. Sorry. The team announced on Friday that it's now 5,000 tickets to break a regular season game attendance record and 8,000 away from reaching the Alamo Dome's capacity of 65,000. So doing the math, they are at 57,000 for that game currently.
Do we know?
And they still expect to get enough.
Do we know the ticket sales for that? I mean, it's not that important. We'll find the numbers when they
like the prices.
Yeah, it's just interesting given how bad the Spurs are that they're going to do that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, also so like it kind of helps to have, and Steph is expected to be back for that game, so that should help too. So,
I debated for my one thing. I wanted to talk about KD, but then I was like, nah, they didn't really talk about too much with that. Sad for the guy. Seems to happen every year at some point. Something gonna take him out for a couple weeks, MCL again this year, so I hope he has a speedy recovery. He gets back quickly. Doesn't look like he missed a beat. But my one thing, I just want to double back, and I just want to say, hey, Milwaukee Bucks, more Marjan, please. please. Can we have some more Marjan minutes? Again, I don't think the kid's perfect. This is the opposite of Jordan Love here. He needs to be on the court right now for his development to continue at this point. NBA practices are different. They don't even do so much. So, during the regular season. But given the age of the Bucks team and the guys who they are seeing to be key contributors, such as Wes Matthews and George Hill and all these other old guys on the bench, regular season, let Marjan get some tick.
The old guys.
They are. Like, let's be honest. They're old. They like our age. That's old. Think about you trying to go hoop with some 20-year-olds right now. Like, they got too much energy. And that's all I want. I just want some more Marjan minutes, because it's like he gets in the game, he does these flashes, he gets effed up whenever he's playing. He got to go over screens. He just does not go over screens well. But he got quick feet when it's just one-on-one. He does make he fouls. He's a rookie. He's going to foul, but he won't get better until he keeps getting those game reps. So, like, regular season, when we have minutes to burn, we don't need Wes out here playing a lot of minutes. We don't need George Hill playing a lot of minutes. Like, just let Marjan get some tick. Mark in the comments is that Joe Ingles is back to vintage Joe Ingles. I'm not going to go that far. Let's not. Whoa, buddy. He had 2 good games.
He looked closer to what we thought he would be.
That's the ticket right there. But no, I want Marjan.
I would say he might be at that stage of his career where it's like, yeah, every other week he'll pop, and then the rest of the time he'll kind of chill a little bit.
Because again, maybe Joe Ingles shouldn't play 30 minutes a night. Maybe Marjan could take 5 of those from him. You know what I mean? I'm just saying he can help out the old guys. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about trade deadline coming up, and like from day to day, like I change like how I want the Bucks to address this roster. I think today I've landed on Jordan Clarkson being my number one trade target, just because like I think that they need more people that can create their own shot, because that offense is garboo. And
I mean, like, I get it, but like,
I mean, again, like they don't have much to work with as far as like sending out people. So you kind of like, it's Jordan Clarkson, Crowder.
I don't want nobody old coming back. I'm tired. I don't want no. I'm done with the. Listen, I get the vets. I trust me. I get it. I understand. We have enough right now.
I think that in the offseason, yeah, like bring in younger guys, but like during like when you're making moves for, 5 months from now, like age matters a little bit less to be at that point, because you can always reset the roster at the end of the season.
I went to Marquette with Jay. I like Jay. I don't want to see Jay on.
He's rested though. Like he ain't played in like 8 months. He got
to get back
together, fam. I'm good.
We got to trade for players. Go take the rest of the season and get back into regular season condition.
We already got Joe. We already got Chris, who's gonna need to ramp up. At
right.
Some point,
so we already have all, like, Joe Ingles was working his way back. Chris is gonna be working his way back. I don't need to add Jay and working his way back too. Like, we got enough work that we trying to figure out. Mark mentioned Emmanuel Quigley. If we could get a Knicks player, Quigley would be the one I would want. I know Cam Reddish is the name that is thrown out there because we know he's on the block.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all like Cam more than me, but
I've had
Javon Carter for me is like illustrating like no small guys. Like I don't want any little dudes. Like
that's fair.
If we're bringing in people, like I want somebody that's big for their position, but at least somebody that's like 6'4". So like you don't have like little dudes like getting bullied like when they get to the playoffs, because it then becomes like matchup hunting. So
what you saying is you'd rather have Cam Reddish than Emmanuel Quigley.
If Cam Reddish winds up on his team, he is not playing down the stretch this year. Like they're not bringing him in to be like, because I think Marjan is honestly better than Cam Reddish at this point. So if they're only playing one of them, like it should be Marjon. Which is what I was starting to say is that I think that if you trade Grayson for Jordan Clarkson, like Clarkson becomes your guard off the bench, like then you can slide Marjon into being your starting two. Like not like he's playing 30 minutes a game, but like just for like that opens up playing time for him because like you can slide him to the two and then still have like that punch off the bench. That's just where I'm at.
I didn't realize Jordan Clarkson was 6'5".
Yeah.
He's bigger than I thought. Okay.
Yeah. He's still slight. I think he's under 200 pounds though. So
great. He looks light. Okay. All right.
I think y'all made comments about the Alamo Dome. Yes. So the Spurs at the Alamo Dome, when they played there, they didn't have it set like to seat 60,000. Like they put up a curtain and like it's still like a 20 to 30,000 seater. So the NBA record was played at the Georgia Dome in '93 between the Bulls and the Hawks, and it doesn't give me a number, but tickets started at $10 for his game.
The Georgia Dome.
Yeah, and obviously, Bulls in '93, like who was on the marquee for that one. So
that's why I'm trying to look up and see if I can find the rock. Like that's when I heard 90. I'm like, oh my.
I can give you the date. It was November 5th, 1993. Shit. So actually, he had retired at that point.
Maybe that game was lined
No,
up.
Jordan played in that game. They said he led all scorers with 34 points on the night. Oh, I'm looking at 98.
Yeah.
They played in the Georgia Dome 98. My fault. No, that's what it say. This date in history. Hey, Kane Pittman wrote this article. What a world.
Okay. Well, on the NBA.com, that's what they have is November. Oh, sorry. So this is the first game played at the Alamo Dome. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Right. Sorry. My bad. The first ever NBA game played at the Alamo Dome was between the Spurs and the Warriors on November 5th, 1993. The contest between the Bulls and the Hawks took place at the Georgia Dome in '93, according to this.
Someone lying here. We'll figure this out there. If Kane's lying, I'm gonna definitely tell him to do his face. Like, hey man, I saw the article you wrote. You wrong, bro. But no. Okay. Any other NBA thoughts before we continue moving? Okay. As mentioned, Kevin Durant is going to be out at least 2 weeks with the MCL sprain. And Dallas waived Kemba Walker. It was such fanfare when he signed there. And we thought, well, some people thought it was going to be big things for Kemba there. What happened? What I missed?
You said thought it was going to be big things. People's opinions and shit. Nothing.
Okay. So Kemba's on the market again. The Georgia Bulldogs, they dog walked TCU in the national championship game.
Boy, I was out of there at halftime, and they was already up by like 28.
And they won 65-7. That's ridiculous.
It was bad. Like Georgia scored, TCU answered, and everybody was like, "Yeah, see, this is what Michigan didn't do. Michigan didn't fight back right away. TCU scored right away. Then Georgia scored. I was like, okay. And Georgia scored. I was like, damn, y'all punting again? 3 and out. Then Georgia scored again. I'm like, bro, they can't stop these motherfuckers. Then he threw 2 picks at the end of the half and put them motherfuckers at the 30-yard line, and he threw another touchdown. I was like, oh, boy, it's over. I was like, that was my cue to go. I was like, they scored one more damn touchdown. I'm out of here. These motherfuckers got a pick, and with like 35 seconds left in the half.
Let me ask you this, too, because you were watching the national champ. Were you surprised the game went that way, especially after the way that the first weekend of the college football playoff?
Yeah, bro, I thought TCU was going to try to put some numbers up or something, bro. They was on their bumper. Couldn't do nothing. Duggar was out there shook. Duggar was shook, bro.
That's
like,
what I heard.
It was bad. And then, but you can't do nothing when Georgia wide receivers there's nobody within 30 yards of these cats. 20 yards wide open down the field. What? What is the safety? What are the safeties? It's 2 of them. what happened? It was just a lot of. I was watching the game. I'm like, ain't no way, boy. There ain't no nice conversations on that sideline. And Jalen Carter gonna be cold. Jalen Carter 2 prospect in the draft.
2 marks point. He might be a Bear.
Yeah.
He might, because between him and old boy in Alabama, Will something, I think. Yeah. But
the pass rusher.
Yeah, like
I'm the Bears. I'm trading that pick.
I think they should trade it.
They said they're gonna keep all the options open. Like they're not tied. Like they came out, I think today or yesterday. They were like, we're not. If we're gonna write down. They also said
he didn't even.
Will Anderson. There you go.
They also said that Justin Fields is their quarterback unless they get something that comes across there.
They're gonna stand beside him.
Unless
conditionally
something crazy that comes their way. But
I mean, bro, you got the number 1 pick. Y'all could grab Bryce Young. He could run I won't say just as well as Justin Fields, but Bryce Young,
he's a better thrower though.
He's a way better thrower, but he still runs. I'm almost sure he's around like 4.4, 4.5. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, that's the critique that they have in Chicago right now for Justin Fields. They're like, they call him a playmaker. They say he's a playmaker. He's a playmaker. Like he can move the offense so many different ways. They say, but Justin Fields has to get better at throwing the ball.
Bryce Young is a thrower of
exactly. And
that motherfucker could run. Stetson Bennett looked like he was better. He was mixed with Justin Fields and motherfucking Joe Burrow last night. Motherfucker had 6 touchdowns.
I mean, he played with like all 5 stars, so like it's a little bit.
Like Dog was like, but the way he was moving, I'm like Stetson Bennett was reminding me of Alex Smith. Like we want to talk about Alex Smith. He looked like Alex Smith last night. Alex Smith was mobile shit. You said what?
Oh no, we're done with your point. Go ahead.
Oh, I was like, Alex Smith was mobile. He was an absolutely fantastic game manager and put the ball where and accurate as crap. He was one of the most accurate quarterbacks in NFL history. Like, if you need someone to, I thought that was Aaron was going to be, but god dang it, anyways. Outside of the mobility thing, but Stetson Bennett kind of looked like that in the game last night. So it's like, but a lot of people probably wrote him off as because he kind of like in the Mac Jones build. Like they don't pop off like, oh man, he gonna be an NFL quarterback. Even Jones, they had like, oh yeah, we'll give him a shot. Then he started shooting up throughout the offseason up the boards. But at first, Jones really wasn't talking about like that. He's the same thing with Bennett. I think Bennett might have a shot.
I know, man. He's 25 years old, 11.
You said what? He's 25?
I'm hearing some Mr. Roboto.
He's 20.
I think he said he's
25. Yeah, he's 5. Can you hear me now?
I'm hearing random numbers coming in. I don't know what order they're supposed to come in.
Mouth wide open, and then it closed. Head leaned back. Get back.
Not the Stevie Wonder lean back.
Dude out here wilding.
Oh boy. Okay.
A 26-year-old rookie. Wasn't that
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah. Okay, Oklahoma State quarterback that came out. He was like 25 a couple years ago.
Brandon Wheaton?
Yeah, Wheaton.
Oh, he lasted.
Is that really who you want to prop up as like this
he's
dude gonna be NFL
saying that's another old.
It's not unheard of. I'm bringing him up as an example, but it's not unheard of that he wouldn't be an old rookie.
Okay, all right. Well, in other college football,
and plus,
go ahead.
Apparently, I have a delay now. Sorry. I was saying he's also 5'11", so he's small and he's old and he doesn't have a big arm. Like
that's where
that big arm last night got that.
It's a little bit easier when everybody wide open.
Boy,
Georgia said no.
Boy, bro, what? I'd have been defensive coordinator, bro. He should have been in the bathroom. Hey, I went to take a bathroom break. I handed it off to the DB's coach. He was the one calling that play. I ain't called that shit because boy, ain't no way. I had nobody in the secondary back. It was 3 motherfuckers wide open like that. It was crazy. It was wild. It was just wild. I had to go. I had to turn that shit off. Click. I got better things on the TV to watch. I was like watching wrestling and shit.
And some other college football news before we get to wrestling, though. The National Football Foundation announced its 22-member class for 2023. And that group was headlined by Tim Tebow and Reggie Bush.
Hey, I was happy when I seen Reggie Bush name on there. I was like, about time, bro.
Like, give him some recognition. So
give him his trophies back too.
Reggie, we understand everything that happened with USC, but like Reggie Bush was different. Like one of the coldest college running backs.
At the time, you was like, bro, this nigga is one of the coldest football players ever. Like the way he was looking in college, you're like, no, this nigga he finna break every record. He finna have every yard, every touchdown.
Your college football Hall of Fame is invalid if you don't have Tim Tebow and Reggie Bush in it. Like,
facts.
That's what the Hall of Fame is made for. Is for those two players. Like, those two dudes in college were different.
That's why everybody was shocked. Vince Young won that damn game because you had Leinart on one side and Bush was right behind him, bro. Like they wasn't lighting you up in the air.
And Lindell White, and like I feel like they had pros at receivers. I think was Palomalu on the defense.
It was the Cushing, the Urlacher, not Urlacher, the Cushing, the
Matthews,
and the
my Luca.
Like them three there was the linebacker tree. Like USC had a squad, bro. USC had a squad.
Like every couple of years, you get those teams where they just like load up on like everybody. It was like Miami was right before that. Man. Like when you had like Ed Reed and Sean Taylor and all them come through. And then it was USC, they had their run. Then Alabama had like a decade, and now it's Georgia. Like Clemson was just a couple years ago, and now it's Georgia. Like schools just get hot, like in recruiting for a while.
And then you see,
I think that really 02 Miami team might have been the greatest team of all time, though. But
yeah, man. And then you see like those the like years later. What makes it even cooler is when like when those guys hit in the NFL level too. So you'd be like, dang, like y'all was really like.
They had him. They had him.
They had him. Like,
same time. Y'all was on the same.
That's how I felt when I first watched the U document, the ESPN 30 for 30, the first U, and then they made the second, the part 2 with the early 2000s Miami teams. But it was just like, how did y'all have all of these guys on one team
Clinton
in
Portis,
college?
Third string running back. What? Clinton Portis?
Frank Gore was like he was supposed to be their starter and he got hurt, and then they put in McGahee and then he went off, and then they had Portis, and this or like Cam was the backup to Tebow at Florida. Like these teams be stacked.
Just wild stuff, bro. Just wild stuff. Like even if you get to the NFL level, you think about like the Chargers when they had Michael Turner, it was Michael the Burner Turner. I was just thinking about the motherfucking running backs. Lost them real quick, but when you have teams that have like position or skill players that have you go 3 deep and you be like, bro still can start. The third string is still a starter. Pro Bowl level, bro. Darren Sproles, that's what I'm thinking of. LaDainian Tomlinson, Darren Sproles, and Michael Turner. That was ridiculous.
That still ain't winning a goddamn thing. I told you, like the Chargers are the AFC's version of the Vikings. And just it was 98 for the game at the Georgia Dome, so the Spurs website was incorrect.
Shout out to Kane Pittman. Look at Kane coming through with the facts and racks. Where are we?
So actually, we saw that game in we saw that game in The Last Dance. But yes, Vince McMahon. And I saw that he was elected the chairman of the board today too.
Yep, so it all went through. So long story short, people, if you have not heard what's happening, Vince McMahon was ousted of his position with WWE because of some accusations of him paying women off for inappropriate relationships. Right? He said he was stepping away. Stephanie came back in the fold. Triple H was taking over creative. Everybody's like, oh man, WWE, woo, new. Vince was no longer in charge of creative. And then Vince said, hey, it's been a little too long. I need my spot back. Vince reinstated himself as a WWE board member, along with 2 other board members who were also kicked off of the board back in, I think.
He fired.
Yeah, 2020.
It was the initial scapegoats.
They was gone. Y'all out of here. He brings them back while he removed 3 current board members at the time for those 3 to take those spots. And he did that because he wanted to regain his position as chairman of the board. And as I believe it was Eric just said, they voted him through. He is chairman of the board again. And part of why they probably went through with that vote was because Vince was doing a power play. And his power play is paying off. And that power play comes through the fact that in the SEC filing that came out, it was noted that any media rights or company sales must be approved by Vince McMahon, right? So Vince was using that power to leverage himself into that chairman position, and he informed the board that he would not approve any kind of deals unless he was chairman of the board. So if y'all want to sell this company, you better put me back in here. Y'all want to negotiate the media rights that are coming to a close pretty soon. You're going to need me here. And it worked. He is back in his position of power. And Stephanie McMahon resigned right after Vince McMahon was named executive chair again.
Oh, I didn't even see that part.
Yep, Stephanie gone. Stephanie said, I'm out. The press release came out, I think, like a couple hours ago. Like, I'm not doing this.
She said that Nick Khan's an absolutely fantastic co-CEO and that Triple H is a great head of creative and that the WWE is in great hands at the moment. When all things ensued, she just got the opportunity of a lifetime. She I stepped away, and then a couple weeks later, I got the opportunity of a lifetime. I took it. Wanted to run the company. Thought it was it was the dream job. This, that, and third. I think it's the greatest company in the world. Cool. Triple H is still there. Head of creative. Nick Khan is still there. Great co-CEO. Company's in good hands moving forward. I'm finna bust these moves because I don't fuck with my daddy. Long story short. That's what I got out of.
That's about right. That's what I heard too.
It feels, and like maybe it has more to do with the corporate than the creative, because they're claiming that Triple H is still in charge of creative, which I believe it when I see it. But like maybe it is just like strategic corporate stuff that he felt he needed to be back for, because like what happened is like he went to the board privately like a month ago, like, hey, I'm trying to come back, and they're like, no, we good.
We'll review your application later.
like the block is still hot. We know about more stuff that didn't come to light publicly that's the biggest we don't want to have to deal with. He's like, no, I got some leverage, so I'm back.
Fuck what you talking about?
Yeah, it's just
they said that what he had is more damaging to the company that didn't come out than it would be if he actually stayed away.
It's just disappointing because like it felt like a breath of fresh air. It felt like they were moving in a great direction that, the fan base, who should be the most important people in your calculus, like that everybody was on board with. Like they brought back people that we liked. It seemed like, ratings for the most part have been on a steady rise up. Like the product has just been better.
Reviews finally getting sold out again.
It seems like, again, this could be just me reading into it, but it's like Vince probably thought, they can't do this without me, so they're going to be begging for me to come back in 6 months. And, like, almost universally, like, everybody's like, no, we good. Like, we like this.
We're flooring.
And his ego, knowing Vince, his ego couldn't take people enjoying things that wasn't, like, that he didn't approve of, that it wasn't his doing. So now he's back, and I'm sure, I'm sure it's not a coincidence that he's back at the beginning of WrestleMania season, because that is his baby.
Just in time. Rumble is like two and a half.
He's gonna ruin everything.
Yeah.
Jinder Mahal just came back tonight in NXT.
The NXT. Okay.
Oh,
I'm like, what's tonight?
Oh, it is the New Year with the little evil babies.
I don't know what's going on in NXT.
Listen, all I know is I saw the little poster, and it's like two little evil devils, and one's a boy and one's a girl, but they're like little baby devils. It's like, I forget do you know what it's called, Tim? It's like the New Year's Evil.
I know is that New Day is the tag team champions. That's all I know.
Xavier Woods been hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, so they're not the champions anymore?
Oh, he's still the champions?
No, they're champions. They're just not fighting champions right now.
Yeah, it sucks because like I thought we were, that's my bad, but I thought we were done with Vince McMahon, and we're not.
Yeah, it's New Year's Evil 2023.
I don't want to wish death on nobody for my entertainment.
Good Lord, don't do it.
Don't say it. Yeah, let's nope.
I'm not wishing it on, but I just feel like that's the only way we're gonna be rid of him for good. Is like once he's left this mortal coil. So it's like we just gotta live with him until he not living no more.
He is the embodiment of his on-screen character, bro. Vince never goes away. Every so often, Vince shows up, and you be like, "Why are you here, bro?" And he aggravates the shit out of you, and then he disappears, kinda. Then he comes back.
He just goes off TV.
Right. He let somebody else be the face for a minute. No, it's my company, damn it. If it wasn't for them damn TV deals, I was telling I forgot who I was talking to, but I was like, Fox gave them $1 billion.
And that deal almost up.
Okay, so I know Tim, you probably keeping up on like the rumors of who they might sell the company to. I saw it might be sold to the Saudis.
Mm-hmm. I think most likely is whoever the parent company is that owns like USA, but the Saudi Sports Trust or whatever they call it, like they're expected to be a bidder. I think Disney is expected.
I heard Disney for a while.
Disney buying it is interesting.
They'll probably offer 5 to 10 billion.
He's going to clean.
They gave them just $1 billion for SmackDown to be that show. And then USA gave them about 7, almost 8.
What is WWE worth?
And that's why it makes sense for USA's parent company to just buy them, because then that's $700 million that you don't have to pay. And if they still more likely they would just bring everything in house. But even if they wanted to sell off the SmackDown rights separately, that's $1 billion on top of not having to pay out.
Mm-hmm. Plus they had the board seats too, so it was like Vince sold his soul in essence, his corporate soul, when he took the money from both the companies, because he was
clearly not if he's still strong arming the board.
Well, he's still a big shareholder. Like he's
Mr. Burns,
shareholder for the company.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If they don't have, he still has most of the voting power. So even if he gave them seats, they don't mean shit. They still gonna do whatever he wants them to do anyway.
Just to wrap this up, Google says that WWE is worth, any guesses before I say the number here?
250.
250 what?
Million. Billion, I'm sorry. Not million. Billion.
That's a lot.
Hey.
The Lakers only worth $6 billion.
We had an NBA team sell for 2, probably the Bucks might sell just half the squad for about 9.
But bro, you said 250. You didn't say
true. Okay, I'll give you 20 billion.
I still that's aggressive. I don't know. 4 bill.
Eric's closer. They're worth $6.7 billion.
That's a lot of fucking money, bro.
If they was worth 250, the only people gonna buy that is
hey
Bezos.
Disney bought, and obviously they made a killing on this deal, but I think I'm conflating the two. But they spent $4 billion for Lucasfilms, to buy Star Wars essentially. So
and that whole little universe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They cashing out and they spent that money and they want their champs. That's why that's why they unified the titles, because USA wanted them, and Fox wanted. They both hey, we paid you, bro. We need the champ.
Mm-hmm.
All right, give them both of them.
Which I get. When you're on 2 competing networks, it's no, we paid you this. All right,
we got 2 belts. No, we want him.
We want that one.
That guy.
Like CM Punk when they had the new one. I want this one. I don't want this.
I'm surprised it took them this long to figure that out, because he's always said competition is what's best for business, essentially. That's why they did the brand split in the first place. So to play them off of each other only raises the value up. So just having everything on USA or whatever their parent company was for all those years, it's kind of yeah, of course your value is going to explode once you separate the two out and it's actually 2 different entities, because then it just makes your product hotter because they're fighting over it.
And I feel that's probably why they wanted to push NXT as the third brand, to try to catch that third TV deal money type shit. You know what I mean?
I think that was just a bone in USA. Hey, you lose SmackDown, but we'll give you another show for it.
That's fair.
All right, let's wrap this up. Money in the Bank WWE pay-per-view will be in London, England for the first time July 1st this year.
We taking a trip?
That's ambitious if I'm also trying to do Summer League, which is really seeming like a Summer League's going to happen this year.
The Packers play in Vegas next year.
Oh,
they just released their schedule. Their opponents.
You just don't know when they're in Vegas at this point.
Mm-hmm.
It does matter. I was about to say, does it matter? No, it does.
Could you imagine if it's like a December game? It's, we go to Vegas in December.
Hell yeah! I'm making that trip.
I want to see that stadium too. Like, I really just want to see the Raiders stadium.
Did y'all see that? Davis was complaining about that. He's like, "Oh, there are way too many opposing fans in the stadium." It's like, yeah, you moved the team to Vegas. Like, that was part of the selling point, was that people would travel to see their teams there. Like,
most of the people there are transplants, anyways.
Like, come on, man. They ain't cheering for the Raiders either.
Cheering for the team that they always grew up with. You just didn't know it. They live here the whole time.
Carlos Correa, that saga has come to a close now.
Finally.
We think.
No,
he signed another deal now.
At first. So they already know whatever medical issue he got, they cool. He went out and got his own money. And now what did that bring you? Like Thanos said, back to me.
Like, his first deal was with the Giants, right? And then he signed with the Mets, and then now it's
with the Twins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
6 years, $200 million. And then,
so that injury must not be that bad, because like everybody was still like willing to throw
he lost $115 million.
But I mean, I'm saying like he still got $200 million. So like, yeah, he lost money, but like it must not be that bad to where it's like, because if it was like a career ender, like you wouldn't imagine like people still be willing to.
Chris Paul was having degenerative knees, and they still giving up 2-3 first. They was 2-3 first round picks for this nigga for years. If you that cold, you that cold.
Yeah.
And in other baseball news to end this out, the Dodgers designated
for assignment
Trevor Bauer for assignment. So now he is eligible to return from suspension immediately. And the Dodgers,
so he's a free agent now.
Yeah, they're going to eat the $22.5 million left on his contract.
I'm curious to know if somebody might pick him up, or they might not. We'll see. But Trevor Bauer is another one of those uber talented, as you can tell by his contract, players. But nah, bro,
terrible human being.
Yeah, nah, bro. That's why I'm kind of. It's baseball.
Like again, like I would like to think that there's a line just because of like public outcry, but again, the Browns giving Deshaun Watson $250 million while he was still under investigation.
But that's NFL.
Like, it's rich people.
I mean, look at Dana White. We saw a video of him punching his wife, and no one's talking about it,
bruh. Like, no, what?
I think I saw someone from ESPN tweet out like they were told like they're not supposed to like comment too much on it.
Yeah,
because ESPN's in bed with UFC, so like that's money, man.
You talking billions, bro? Crazy.
Eric, I saw that you put Tank Davis down here as a blow to whistle. Is this an old blow to whistle? Or did you wanted to?
I can hit it real quick.
That's what he said.
That's what my blow the whistle is on. Like, that man was just arrested for domestic violence 2 weeks ago,
right before the fight.
Very recent. Yeah.
Yeah, right before the fight.
Damn.
And like, I don't follow boxing. Like, I know his name, but like the first knowledge I ever had of dude was because he had a video go viral of him like choking up a woman in a public setting. Like, we know what these people are, and yet if they can make $1 for somebody, they're gonna keep getting to do whatever they want to do, regardless of how many times it pops up, until like they aren't useful to people, and then you want to have like your come to Jesus moment, like, oh yeah, you know, it's terrible what this person did. Like Antonio Brown, like he finally wore out his welcome in the NFL once he wasn't producing on the field anymore. Like, people were willing to make excuses for him, willing to apologize for him, willing to, oh, you know, we're just gonna give him another chance to prove. Like, no, you're not giving him another chance to become a better person. You're bringing in a very talented person that can help you win and make you some more money. And like Tank Davis is just another example of that in the boxing world. Mind you, the biggest boxer of the century, also like a multi-time, accused domestic violence perpetrator. So that's just where we are as a society, and it sucks. And
yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, and in case anybody was curious as to why that fight still took place, with those allegations, it is because the woman who accused him of doing so retracted her statements right before the fight, like a week or so before the fight. Because the incident happened right after Christmas. So we're talking about a 2-week window, like pretty much in between when the incident happened and then when the fight took place.
Yep.
And so that is why the fight happened, in case anybody was curious.
Which is really like, again, like it's a trained world-class boxer, like putting his hands on a woman. But still people shell out money to go watch him beat on men. Like what message are we sending?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Only thing I do know is this show is over. It is time to eat. It is time to get ready for the rest of the week, I guess. We appreciate y'all for tuning in, supporting the show. Appreciate everybody who jumped into the comments on YouTube and was part of the show live. And we'll be back at it next week. If you want to follow me on social media, you can catch me.
Wait a minute.
On Twitter, Instagram, Apple Music, and these 2K PSN streets at Camille Monet, CamilleMonae.
Why?
Because that's my name.
Don't wear it out.
I almost got it, y'all. What is it? At Bucksburner on Twitter.
That's all y'all get.
That's all y'all get.
Let me see if
Ken ain't here. So, you know, this one his spiel will go in here. K Harris 216 on Snapchat and Twitter. I think everyday underscore gentleman on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And it's your boy, TIMKINZ, the number 3, aka Ask Ketchum, aka Mr. Give It To Me. It's the end of a long ass day, bro.
Man.
Y'all be easy.
Bye, y'all.